Hello, my crafty friend, and thank you so much for tuning into my video today. I call this treasure journal Diamond Star Brooches and Blue Satin Sashes, and the reason for that is quite obvious. It was inspired by the beautiful dresses, the coronation gowns, the wedding garments, and the royal sashes and crown jewels worn by so many queens around the world. And so, pardon me while I pull on this. When the brooch went through, it kind of pulled on that fabric a little bit. But anyway, yeah, this baby is all about the cover. I think I spent more time on the cover than everything inside put together, starting with finding just the right brooches to fulfill my vision here. These two I found on eBay in jewelry lots that I've bought for journal making. But this one is really special. It belonged to a lady who I know only as Grandma Blevin. She was the grandmother of one of my mom's old co-workers. So yeah, thank you to Mrs. Les. They're all retired teachers. My mom, my auntie, they're friends. But yeah, she heard that I use old jewelry in journals that I make, and she gifted me a beautiful stash of costume jewelry. I think it's from the 1940s. But anyway, yeah, so the idea is whoever buys this journal, you are the queen of the journal realm, and this is your part of your royal jewels collection. And of course, they can be taken off and worn. But the part of the journal that took the longest in this cover is that the main material is this mesh that has some lacy overlays. I wrapped that around just a white piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, but I wanted it to have that layered, three-dimensional, opulent, like seed, pearl, and crystal royal look to it. So I took a few hours and fussy cut around extra pieces of that lace to glue them on and layer them with some other pieces I fussy cut, these gorgeous teal embroidered sari bits with some gold and some mirrors. And I think that the overall effect, I'm so happy with how this one turned out. Like, you know, when you're making a craft and it's exactly what you hoped it would be. Not perfectly symmetrical, not perfectly layered, which is hard for me. I try to sometimes make things overly symmetrical and overly perfectionistic. But I noticed when doing my research for this one and looking at different pictures of queens, the sashes are not always as straight and as smooth as you might expect them to be. And the brooches are not lined up perfectly, you know, in a straight row the way you might expect. They're kind of like some hanging off the edge like this one. Anyway, it's funny. It's a struggle for me to get things to be beautifully messy like this. But anyway, the back piece of blue satin sash is, of course, a pocket. And into that, I tucked this lovely, grungy, antique French envelope. I just love the writing on that. That's obviously stamped, but the calligraphy. And anyway, that's just folded over. And then inside you find the first of the paper Diamond Star brooches. I created a digital printable kit to fill up this journal. And part of the kit, I printed a second to show you because it's my absolute favorite thing in this kit. It's a sheet of Diamond Star brooches, and I just adore these. If you're one of my regular viewers, thank you, first and foremost. But also, you know that I love jewelry, and I love adding jewelry elements to my journals. And so yeah, this is perfect if you don't have, for example, the real brooches like I used, having something like this to adorn the pages, or even a combination of the two. So anyway, along with that, in the printable kit, I've designed some journal cards of fantasy queens. And you see they have their sashes and their diamond stars, like her diamond stars are on the tiara. So pretty. And I tried to include multiple ethnicities so everyone can be represented. But yeah, I just adore how these turned out. And this is just a small sampling of the journal cards. There are more. I didn't print all of them, but yeah, if you check out my shop listing, you can see a couple of the others. So yeah, the envelope is very much crumbling. It's very, very old, so I'll just put that little piece back inside. And yeah, that is the cover. So we can now go into it. It's tied up with this really pretty blue ribbon that was in a happy mail from my friend May in Saudi Arabia. It got here just in time for this journal. And I felt like when I opened it, it was so perfect because it matches the ribbon that's on this page from the printable kit. Anyway, I'll try to show you everything. Since it doesn't fit into the frame, I'll do the whoop whoop kind of a display. Maybe if I angle it, there we go, that's better. So here's another one of my fantasy queens. I just love like the layered lace dress similar to my cover. And then I also included some antique images of real queens, and this one is of course Queen Mary, but I've labeled all of the real queens, so if you get the journal and wonder who is this, you can easily see. This is just some really grungy paper, but I washi taped. Oops, the tape looks like it pulled some of the paper, but I think it looks okay. Anyway, yeah, I fussy cut the star, and then I also cut the inside to make it look really 3D. And you can see next to the one that's printed, like it's this one right here. You don't have to do the X-Acto knife cutouts for all the white spots like I did, but if you like things to look extra done, that's an option. So yeah, this is just some really grungy antique paper. I did not, or so not antique, vintage. I did not ink the edges. I did not coffee dye it. That's just how time how time affects papers. And so yeah, the inside lining material is this pretty turquoisey blue paper. I made a tuck spot just out of some sari trim, and then a pocket out of this beautiful trim that was also from my dear friend May. So into that tuck spot, I stuck a fairy tale castle cabinet. This is from my kit of cabinets that I just love putting in journals. And when the cabinet door opens up, of course, you have writing space here, one more diamond star brooch, and a beautiful portrait of the young Queen Victoria. And there's the little label reminding you of who she is. So yeah, maybe let me know in a comment what you're working on right now, what's inspiring your craftiness this autumn. One of the pages from the kit, I just love how that turned out with kind of an Art Nouveau inspired peacock frame with the lotus flower and the diamond stars on the blue satin sash. One more of the stars, this time glued down to be a tuck spot. love adding bluebirds of happiness into each journal. So this one has little bluebirds I made using a die cutting machine and shades of blue plus a little bit of book page. Another diamond star brooch. I didn't ink these because it's such a clean like platinum and diamond color scheme that I didn't want to make it look too much like paper by inking it. And I think that kind of contrasts nicely over the beige of this print. The ring that will be a gift with purchase to the lady, whoever buys this. I chose it based on the diamond stars on this page that have the pearl centers. And this was kind of an exciting find because I found it in a lot of secondhand jewelry, which I'm a little bit addicted to. I love buying the jewelry jars and jewelry bags. But when I was looking at it, I don't know if my camera can quite, focus on that. But it has stamping on it. And when I looked up the meaning of these particular stamps, one is like, I think it's the letter U within a square, and then the letters SV. In the olden days, before they put 925 for sterling silver, they put SV, so it's real silver, and that is a genuine pearl. I'm sure cultured, but you can tell because it's not perfectly round or perfectly white. It's kind of a differently shaped. Anyway, a lot of royalty love to wear pearls. I personally don't for vegan reasons, but when it comes to secondhand things, I think we can make an exception. But anyway, yeah, so that is the ring that goes to the future owner of the journal. And then this little bundle is clipped on using a beautiful vintage crystal earring that again looks like the kind of thing a queen would wear. And so I'll get to this side after, but first I printed a tall and slim version of this particular fantasy queen. She's my favorite of the bunch. Just look at how mythically beautiful she is. And I adore the diamond star brooches and all the big giant sapphires that she's wearing. So inked around the edges just so you can use that as some writing space. And then I put this lovely piece of lace over this old paper to make it into a pocket. And into there I stuck a picture, of course, of Queen Elizabeth. Too bad it's not in color because it would be nice to see the blue sash that she has her Order of the Garter diamond star on, but lovely nonetheless. And I especially love the back. Just think of all the junk journaling ephemera possibilities if you could get your hands on this armload of papers and books and correspondence that looks like he's carrying. Anyway, so yeah, I put a few pictures of actual queens along with my fantasy queens. And yeah, on the other side of that, this is just some old book page from an art book, but I also used this lace because I love having it stick out the edges to adorn the side of the book. But yeah, here is, for your collaging pleasure, just a piece of another antique French envelope. Some old train tickets that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that would be Russian. And I went with it just because of the blue colors. And then one of the mini diamond stars. So yeah, that just all gets attached back again using the earring. So in a recent video, I asked the question, when you're watching a flip through, do you like the person to put everything back again exactly where it was? Or do you like it when they set it off to the side so you don't have to watch the struggle? I had one reply. A lady said that she likes to set things to the side just so that she doesn't waste the time of her viewers. But, you know, personally, I like to put it back exactly where it goes, because when I watch junk journal flip through videos, I find that when people just set things to the side, I feel like, no, I want to see it go back where it belongs. Anyway, there is a page out of a book from 1901. It was the book of the life of Queen Victoria. And I found this in my garage. My boyfriend's dad used to have a thrift store that he stocked. I guess you could call it a thrift store or a secondhand store, but he stocked it with stuff that he found when buying storage lots. And this was among that hoard. And it already had a bunch of pages ripped out of it, so I didn't feel badly at all to take some up for journals. And it's cool because it has, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, there we go. The pages are edged not with gold but with red, so it's kind of a neat effect. An old receipt from 1950 from Austria. Another diamond star brooch on a piece of faux blue satin. But yeah, I fussy cut and then X-Acto cut through this one and then held it on by sticking a straight pin through the holes. This little mini page here has washi stickers on it, so you can actually peel these off and re-stick them if you'd rather use them as decorations elsewhere. And then on the back of that, I made the tiniest little pocket using some embossed cardstock with a star motif. And into there, look at the stars on this beautiful Queen's tiara. Oh, and I missed one. Okay, so I will have to label her, but interestingly, she was the Queen of Afghanistan, and she's wearing a beautiful sash and stars, so fit really nicely. Some old music paper is tucked behind this fairy tale castle cabinet. This might just be my favorite of the cabinets in my cabinet printable set. And when the doors open, you see an image of Queen Mary. Look at that crown on the table. And of course, another diamond star brooch. And I did, whoops, put a label on the back of her. I apologize if any of this was out of frame. Another diamond star brooch used as a tuck spot. And then here, these are miniature versions of that same one. And I slid this inside, just a little journaling card. Another image from that printable kit, of course. And then this opens up. This is also in the printable kit, as is this page. I love that one. So this pretty piece of fabric was also in my recent Happy Mail from my friend May, and I love how well it fit this spot. Like, her Happy Mail got here just in time for me to use these pieces in this journal. So the Queen of Canada, Elizabeth II. Instead of gluing those down, I just stuck them in there so you can decide where to use them if you want to. Another antique French envelope piece. And in this, we have Queen Alexandra of Denmark. And these diamond stars were gifted, I think, to her mother from Queen Victoria. And we will see her mother wearing them in another journal card coming up. Spoiler alert. Here we go. Or actually, no, she was the mother. This is her daughter wearing them. So the set got divided up among heiresses. But yeah, she's wearing those same diamond stars, but this time instead of brooches in her hair or on her dress, she's put them on her necklace. And into there, I stuck a page from my birthstone printable kit, just because I love that big, regal-looking aquamarine. I tried printing this page on vintage ledger, and I think it turned out really cool. Here we have another one of these clip-on earrings or screwback earrings. So you do get the matched pair if you want to actually wear them. But as happens often with this vintage costume jewelry, some of the crystals have darkened. But anyway, I thought they made the perfect little waist accent to clip in this pretty fashion doll by Kat Stone. And Kat is such a talented artist. She gifted me so many beautiful paper dolls. And this one is in a kit in my shop called Fashion Girls by Kat Stone. And I inked the back. I tried to follow like color in her hair, and then I'm imagining like a V back to the back of the dress. So yeah, this music paper folds over. I love that vintage illustration. See how her dress has the blue sash? When I do a theme, I tend to overdo it, but I think you can forgive that when it's beautiful things like this. Another Queen Victoria. I guess I didn't label all of them, but I think everyone knows who she is. In the printable kit, they're named, if you're curious. But yeah, beautiful diamond stars and peacock feathers. I'll have to make another peacock journal. I find those tend to be my most popular. And here she is, the other heiress, Empress Elizabeth of Austria. So those are those same diamond stars that you saw worn as a necklace and worn on the dress, these ones. So it's interesting how these pieces of jewelry get passed down from generation to generation. And I'll do this back up. I kind of wanted it to look like an ornament decorating the paper doll. Not just a paper clip to hold it in place, but like, see how pretty that is? Like it's coming off that star on her hip. Anyway, some shorthand secretarial instruction book. This is just an embossed piece of white cardstock, great for writing on. This is some handmade paper. It's got a little bit of inking to distress it just because I didn't want too much plain white, but other than that, it's natural. Another one of the journal cards from the kit. Some pages from an antique French Joan of Arc missal. The stars seemed like they kind of fit the theme. And an old French book page. I think it says Königsmark, or like German for the mark of the king. So again, it felt like something kind of appropriate to have in a royal themed journal. And oops, I'll get back into the frame so you can see what I'm doing here. The little pocket that I'm tucking it all into is another embossed piece of cardstock. Make a wish because it's a shooting star. And then another page from the printable kit. I didn't use all of them, so if you do get this printable kit, you might have fun finding the pieces I didn't use in this journal. Love this one. Another one of our diamond stars, just on some pretty royal blue fabric so that it would contrast. This is some wallpaper, not printed, the real stuff out of a wallpaper sample book. And then into the other side of this pocket, I tucked one of the gorgeous pocket-eyed papers from May. It's a nice, generous sized piece for your collaging pleasure. And this one is an authentic antique magazine page, and it just has a beautiful couple. And the trim of her dress here reminded me of the layers of lace on the cover, and the border is just spectacular. This is available in my French fashion printable kit. Yeah, and I just love these two ladies gossiping over their drinks. So cool. And I also love this perfume bottle. Isn't that just, I almost said adorable, but gorgeous is the word I was looking for. And especially the top there with a star. Oh, and her too. The pocket watch, Art Nouveau lady. So yeah, I tried to include some fun ephemera bits along with my paper printables. This is my blue Art Nouveau writing paper and blue floral wallpaper. This picture is just held on using some more of those blue gem washi stickers with the Queen Mum with her star and sash. Some blank paper to write on. A page out of a book of blue porcelain. This simple but effective. This is from the same big beautiful piece of lace as our cover stuff. And so I love adding pages of textile samples in my journals. So yeah, here we have these ones. I love that sari trim. And this tuck spot is made using, sorry, I should say on an angle so you can see more of it. I love the look of these tall, slim journals, but they are difficult to film. So yeah, there is some more vintage wallpaper, yet another diamond star brooch. Trying to see, yeah. Washi taped on, so of course you can use it elsewhere if you prefer. Maybe I'll try to go a little bit quicker from here. There's the center. I printed one really, really big just because it's so gorgeous. Another one. Washi taped in, so you can move it if you want to. I left a lot of the pages blank so that whoever gets this can actually journal. There's another little sample of that same vintage wallpaper. And then this one is almost antique. It's from 1928. It's a Sears wallpaper sample book sample. And then that flips open. You can do some journaling. There's the other side of this pretty, pretty paper. Here we have an image of a king, just because of the diamond stars in his regalia. This is washi taped on, so you can take it off and write on the back of it. Some beautiful embossed blue cardstock. Pretty paper, isn't it? I just love having a huge collection of different printables to keep the journals colorful and fun. This is from my perfume bottle printable kit. Here's another piece of genuine antique French book page. I chose it just because of the jewelry box. I can imagine the opulent diamond stars that might live in that baby. the other side of the ledger paper that I printed a Diamond Star printable page onto. This old French book page includes a page of pearl jewelry from a Burke's catalog from 1936. So really pretty. I especially love the cameos on this side. This is not printed, nor is it available as a printable. Look at the screw back earrings like the ones in this book. It's not printed and it's not scanned to be a printable because it is not yet in the public domain. But I do have another even more beautiful Burke's catalog. I say even more beautiful. The pages inside are the same, but the cover is stunning. And it's from 1930, so I think January of 2026, that one will be public domain. And as soon as it is, I'll scan it and make it available. I didn't glue this side down. I thought it was kind of nice having it so you can see the pretty recessed stars on the back. That kind of Art Deco looking border, vintage writing paper. Here we have Queen Victoria, just washi taped on so you can take that off and use it, but on this bundle of stapled together receipt bits from Angelica in Austria. That's that 1950 Austrian receipt. And then inside that, I tucked an original Victorian lithographed card that came out of a Victorian scrapbook. So pretty. I love that color. And that one is scanned. This is in my, I think the kit is called Treasures from a Victorian scrapbook. And speaking of Victoria, there's another page, or the other side of that page, out of her book. I love this one. This is probably my favorite of the illustrations in that book. The beautiful writing desk, the lavish dress that she's wearing, and the fact that she's writing. So appropriate for a journal, isn't it? And we've come to the back. So here's one more of my perfume bottles, just to give a splash of color. And another really pretty image of a young Queen Elizabeth. What I love about this page, this is out of a magazine I found thrifting. It shows not only the dress she's wearing, but also the original fashion illustration for that dress. And it looks like stars. I'm sorry if it's not exactly on theme, but she does have her sash and her brooch there. But yeah, I love fashion illustrations. So that was a fun one to see. And then there's a full color picture. I think it was her coronation day. So yeah, that just sits in here. I made a tuck spot using just some messy trim from an old shirt. I love that beaded trim. And then I glued down a fussy cut star so that when her picture comes out, there's kind of a surprise that you have these two in a row, and they are, to me anyway, reminiscent of the Diamond Star brooches. So yeah, there you have it. A journal dressed like a queen, fit for a queen, hopefully. A paper queen anyway. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope it gave you maybe some ideas for your own crafty projects. And I hope it wasn't too distracting watching me struggle to get everything back in place as it was, and there we go. And I hope I wasn't out of frame too often in my filming process. But yeah, I love this one. My favorite color is blue, and I love jewelry. So yeah, I love a good blue book, and I love a good jewelry inspired journal. And if you do too, this one might just be for you. Of course, it is up in my Etsy shop as of the time that I published this. And good news to my American friends. I did some research about the Kuzma law, and books apparently are exempted from tariffs. So I was being charged a tariff while shipping journals mistakenly. So I'm sorry to those who bought them and had to pay a tariff. For some reason, when I entered the item description as junk journal, it charges me the tariff. But if I enter into the description handmade book, handmade artist book, it doesn't. So, you know, I that is honest. It literally is a handmade artist book. So that's how I will be shipping the journals. The tariffs will still sadly apply to my shop listings, like the junk jewelry packages, because they are not covered under Kuzma. But yeah, if you've been eyeing one of my journals but maybe waiting until the shipping situation changes, good news. You're invited to get one. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this flip through. The printable kit is in my shop now, and so is the book. So much love to you. Thank you for watching. Happy crafting, and bye for now.